All right, so the news of the day is that Velus Jones will remain a Chicago Bear, at least for now. But we know that with these 53-man rosters, not everyone is suited up for game day. What is Velus Jones's status for game number 1 against the Titans?
I think they're keeping him to play him.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Because I don't think you keep him and don't play him.
If you keep it, if that was the case and you weren't going to play him, you're better off keeping somebody else and giving that kid an opportunity when you kept him because you think he can help you.
Yes.
So
yes,
I think you're going to play
here. Yeah.
I think you're going to play. I don't think he'll sit.
How about the other notable name that was kept as well? One that I think some of us thought could have been on the chopping block, and that was Daniel Hardy. All of us were rooting for him to make it because he's Chardog's guy. But do you think he will be on the active roster for that first game?
Maybe not. Not if everybody's healthy. Daniel Hardy, as Tyler mentioned, went to high school with Charlie Bevins. The other cool part of his story, if you listen to Joniak on Bears Weekly, is he only played 1 year of high school football. He was a basketball kid who then decided to play his senior year football. And he was more of a wide receiver in his senior year. He's very tall. And he was under 200 pounds. I think it was like your weight at 185. So, and then he wasn't recruited at all. And then his dad was sick. So he had to go play junior college, and he stayed in the area to play at a junior college. And then in his freshman year, while he was playing junior college, he lost his father to cancer. So he went through a lot, and starting off, and then he started putting on weight, and he found his sanctuary, what he called the weight room. And then eventually he went to Montana State, and that's where then eventually he was converted to the defensive line as he continued to add muscle. And he was still very light, at Montana State compared to what you would play in the NFL as an edge rusher, and he continues to put on weight, and he's athletic as anybody on the football field. Can he handle the rigors, though, of that position?
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be active for Sunday, but the opening Sunday. But he's obviously a guy that they're interested in, whether it's full-time on the 53-man roster or on the practice squad. I don't think, they're interested in letting him go.
The one thing that they always sold us about Eric Washington, who they acquired as the defensive coordinator from Buffalo, is his big thing was developing young defensive linemen.
Yeah.
He was very, very good, had a lot of success of developing guys. So their hope is they can develop these guys like Dexter and Pickens and these young, maybe he could finally develop Dominic Robinson. He could develop Hardy.
I would hope, though, that if you're going to give a young guy an opportunity to join the rotation, I'd rather see it be somebody like Hardy or Booker as opposed to Robinson, because this would be Robinson's third year. I think he's had an opportunity to kind of distinguish himself. Why don't we give these other guys an opportunity to maybe show that they're worthy of being in the rotation?
Even the kid from Seattle who's had production as a pass rusher, maybe you can develop him into a more well-rounded player with Eric Washington.
Yeah.
If he's as good as they say, and I like him. I do like his credentials.
All right, this registered like a 10 on the Twitter Richter scale yesterday for Bears Twitter. When the Cowboys signed CD Lamb, lots of people were speculating that leaves Micah Parsons as the odd man out of the three in Dallas that will get a contract, obviously because Dak's a quarterback, that he would get precedence over someone like Micah Parsons, even though Micah Parsons probably higher on most people's lists in terms of better players. So we know that the Bears made the big splash a couple years ago when they went out and acquired Khalil Mack. It'll probably cost a little bit more if they were to make a big move like this time around. And it's probably not a move that's going to be made until next offseason. But would you be okay sacrificing multiple first-round picks and other picks to go out and get Micah Parsons?
Wasn't the rumor yesterday, wasn't there something where one of these people, I didn't see it, but I guess it was a big thing, like that it could happen at any time. Wasn't there someone tweeting about that had the Bears fans in a tizzy, that it was more than just speculation at one point?
I think that was one of those fan accounts.
Yeah. Like, my sources, But yeah, as we know, I don't expect this to happen. But to
I'm open to it for sure.
Me too.
I mean, Mike, I actually believe, and we talked about this a little bit the other day. My expectation is that they're going to re-sign Micah Parsons like they did CeeDee Lamb. They don't have to sign Dak to anything at this point. And then based on how Dak plays, they'll make a decision after this year. I could see them moving on from Dak.
You think so? You don't think that they would get this done now that
I don't.
The CeeDee Lamb deal's done?
And by the way, if you're Dak, unless you get everything you want, why would you agree? If you're Dak, you've got more leverage than probably anybody in the NFL. So unless they give you everything you want, Dak can be a free agent next year, and somebody will definitely pay Dak $60 million a year.
Someone tweeted out a graphic, like Bears fans pointing at Micah Parsons, saying, we want him after what happened with Khalil Mack. And again, remember this, that if the quarterback hits and if he's on his rookie deal, it all makes sense.
Listen,
I have no problem with what Ryan Pace did as far as the acquisition of Khalil Mack. I had a problem with his drafting of Mitchell Trubisky.
Look, the plan was sound as long as the quarterback on a rookie deal hits, as you say, because what you have done is you've given up your financial flexibility because you're going to pay Micah Parsons a ton of money. You've given up your draft currency that could bail you out, in fact, if in fact, the quarterback doesn't succeed. So you're tied to this quarterback once you make that deal. I am significantly more comfortable, and I thought it was a fine deal at that point. It didn't work out because you got the quarterback wrong. I don't think they got the quarterback wrong this time. So you're going to have to give up draft picks. You're going to have to give up a ton of money, which I'm fine with because you've got the cash. You don't have to pay the quarterback yet. And you don't need the draft picks to pick yourself up out of quarterback hell because this kid isn't going to let you down in the manner in which the previous guy did.
I'm open to it. I don't believe they are. I don't think they want to pay over $200 million to two edge rushers. As important as it is. Think about all the committed money that they would have to pay to Montez Sweat and to Parsons. I just don't think they will. But I am.
Well, I mean, you've got if Roma Dunze develops into a player where you feel comfortable he's your 2 next year, and then that would mean Keenan Allen's likelihood of being here long term would go out the window. You could do it. I mean, they could do it. But you're right. That's $200 million easily guaranteed given to 2 defensive guys. I mean, can you imagine that defense with Micah Parsons on one side and Montez Sweat on the other with that secondary?
I would love it. We would love it.
That's the best
to
defense
go with an offense that could score the football. Like, it's not just play defense and run the football. It would be both. The best of both worlds with the rookie quarterback. All right, what else, Tyler?
All right, ESPN polled 103 NFL players about 6 burning quarterback questions, one of which involved rookie quarterbacks, and they were asked which rookie quarterback will have the most successful career. And Caleb Williams was the leader at 34 votes among the players. However, Jaden Daniels was second, and I was surprised by the margin. Caleb Williams only got 4 more votes than Jaden Daniels. Does that surprise you?
A little bit. This was all players, you said?
All players, 103 players.
Yeah, I still think there's, there are people who want to see Caleb Williams fail.
I think also, look, I think that there was a true appreciation for Jaden Daniels as a player, too. I mean, I think this is as much about people being excited about him as it is being negative about Caleb. I think that, there were some people that had Jaden Daniels rated higher than Caleb. So I'm not that surprised.
Didn't Louis Riddick say he would have taken Jaden Daniels 1? Orlovsky said he would take Jaden Daniels 1.
I believe so. So I'm not shocked by that.
How many votes did Drake May end up getting?
Drake May is not listed, but it is fewer than 8.
Okay.
So it went Caleb, Jaden Daniels, then a significant drop-off to J.J. McCarthy, who only got 10 votes, and then Penix and Bo Nix each got 8. I'd imagine some of this data was pulled before the preseason as well.
Really?
I feel strongly that this could be one of those years. What was the year when there was 5 or 6 quarterbacks? I'm going back. This was like the Dan Marino year, right?
Oh, you're going way back there?
Yeah,
Elway was first.
I think there's a chance that this could be a special group. Now,
was the 83 group special other than what
was Elway and Marino? You had Ken O'Brien was in the draft.
Who else did you have? You had somebody else, didn't you?
Yeah, there were 2 other ones. You're right.
Tony Eason part? No, he was.
I think maybe though, Waddle. I think so. I'll Google the 99. The 99 class was good too.
Yeah,
with Culpepper and McNabb.
Jim Kelly was in that one.
Jim Kelly, Todd Blackledge.
Blackledge was the other first rounder.
Ken O'Brien, Tony Eason. Yep.
I mean, I look. Are they all going to hit big? I probably not, but I definitely feel this group will be better than the group that was led by Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, yes. That better be. Because there's one guy.
Right.
There's one guy who's good.
I mean, but coming into that year, there were a lot of thoughts that this is a really good quarterback class. I think this one, if I had to put my money down now, I would feel pretty confident saying that this group is going to be good.
The only one I care about is number 1 or number 18.
That's fair.
I don't care about the votes, by the way, either, Tyler. Again, I've said this a bunch. I don't care where anybody's rated preseason. I care about where guys are rated after the season.
One of the other questions here was asking about the most overrated quarterback in the NFL, leading the way.
Can I
guess him? Yeah.
My guess is going to be Josh Allen.
My guess is going to be Dak Prescott.
Josh Allen was number 1 with 11 votes.
You know that he is
a
very polarizing quarterback for some reason.
What about where is Dak on the list?
Dak is not.
What?
Well, I mean, it doesn't mean he didn't get any votes, but he is not among the top vote getters.
All right, who else on that list? Is Tua on the list?
Tua is tied for second with 10 votes, just 1 behind Allen.
Matthew Stafford.
Stafford is not on the list. Stafford is actually tied for first on the most underrated quarterback list.
That's next time you guys get crack at Caleb Williams Silvy, you have to ask him about Matthew Stafford.
Convince me, Caleb. And why you like Matthew Stafford? One question, too, I had and I'm pissed at myself that I did not ask Caleb this question, was he grew up idolizing Aaron Rodgers. He grew up really, really liking Matthew Stafford, meaning he did watch a lot of Bears games because he watched 2 of the division quarterbacks on a high level. He was not a Washington fan. So what was your perception of the Bears while watching these games?
That is a good question. Yeah.
Well, what'd you think of our guy Cuddy?
And did you grow up disliking the Bears because of this too?
Yes.
The funniest thing when he was asked about Matthew Stafford, why he idolized Matthew Stafford, and his rationale was just, it's Matthew Stafford. And it feels like that's what every quarterback's rationale for why they like Matthew Stafford is. It's Matthew Stafford. I don't ever hear actual reasoning behind it.
Who's the NBA comp to Matthew Stafford then? The guy who gets just much respect because it's him, because it's Chris Paul?
I was just thinking Chris Paul, yeah.
It could be a polarizing guy at times. Probably Chris Paul.
Chris Paul's probably not polarizing as much as
some
much
guys
as
hate him though, but
they dislike him as a dirty player or something.
Because he's punching you in the balls.
Yeah,
that's why people hate. That's why people hate Chris Paul in the league.
That's not good.
All right. So what was the question now? Okay. So
can you guess who the other one that was tied for second?
Let me look at my list real quick here. No, we don't have a lot of time.
I know that none of us had him in the top 10. I think someone said they had him on the fringes of the top 10.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts was the other one. Can you give me why neither of you put him in the top 10? Even though a couple of years ago,
I was very tempted to. I believe he's getting beaten up too much now. Maybe he was overloved 2 years ago. I believe he's getting beaten up too much now.
That could be. I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback. He's got a lot to work with, though. That's for sure. A ton to work with. But I still don't think he's a top 10 guy.
All right, good stuff from
Good
Aki's
quarterback.
English.
We did get a tweet in that said for the Matthew Stafford comp, Paul George or Mello. I think Mello's a really good one.
That is good.
Like every NBA player loves Mello.
It's just Mello.
Because he's mellow.
I think that's a great one. Carmelo Anthony.
Shout out to Michael Avalos on Twitter.
Very
work.
good. Thanks, Michael.